Right, welcome back. Welcome back to yet another video from who else? Bell the UCAT. And what are we doing today? We are trying to skin the cat. Right, okay. So what subsection are we targeting today? The subsection that we're targeting today goes by the name of, you know it, name of the subsection is decision making. What exactly decision making? As requested by many people who's trying to get their head around syllogisms, which is yes or no questions. That's what we're trying to crack today. Right, in this video. Right, before we continue any further, you have to go back to the other videos to try to get your head around the different strategies that I've used before, in order for you to clock what I am doing right now. Ready? Okay, number one. Number two, second thing to note. Thank you for your emails about inquiring about the courses. Yes, the courses definitely, certainly will take place early May, mid-May. So since I've got your emails and everything, contact details, you will definitely be updated on the further information in due course. Ready? Without further ado, let's get cracked. Right, let's get cracking. Righty, question numero uno. So what's the plan now? The plan here is to, if an experiment has unexpected results, scientists must adjust the hypotheses. Abbreviation, experiment EUR. Experiment with unexpected results. What happens? Outcome is adjust the hypotheses. So one more time, those of us who inquired about how do you construct this tree diagram? Now, compared to Medify, MedEntry, UCAT, they give us some different ways of doing it, long-winded ways, time-consuming ways. The best strategy is trying to use tree diagram, personally. That's what I find tree diagram is the best one. It just improves your accuracy and speed tremendously, right? So here we are. So how do we construct a tree diagram? Now, whatever the condition is, the condition comes first, followed by the outcome. Ready? Condition was experiment with unexpected results. If that condition is met, what happens? Outcome is you have to adjust the hypothesis. Stats. Next condition. Then he says, no scientists have made breakthrough discoveries without. That means what's the condition? You have to have without experiment having unexpected results. If you have unexpected results, what would you do? Oh, you would be able to make breakthrough discoveries. Condition was, again, experiment with unexpected results. What's the outcome? BD. Arrow goes towards the condition. Ready? Now, starting with question 1. If an experiment has expected results, scientists must not adjust the hypotheses. Oh, he's talking about expected, but in my condition it was unexpected. He's trying to negate the condition. Must not adjust the hypothesis. He's trying to negate the outcome. Another rule to remember, whenever there's a negation of the condition and negation of the outcome, in which you're trying to go with the arrow, you can't go with the arrow when there's negation of the condition, negation of the outcome. It does not stand true. Answer would be no in this case. Right, answer would be no. So when, one more time, you cannot go with the arrow when there's negation. And further down the line, we'll talk about other questions where we can, well, what happens when there's negation? I can go against the arrow. But for now, remember, you cannot go with the arrow in the direction of the arrow when there's negation. In simple terms, to dumbify it, all I know is if this condition is met, unexpected results. If this condition is met, unexpected results, I will get this. I don't know what will happen otherwise. What is otherwise? Negation, expected results. On those grounds, we are saying answer is big fat no. Ready? Moving on. Next question. Then he says if a scientist has made a breakthrough discovery, they must have adjusted a hypothesis. Usually, two different branches are not related. Usually, two different branches are not related. In this case, it's a different scenario, like in chemistry, with exceptions. So, in this case, because the two outcomes, breakthrough discoveries and adjusting hypotheses, are coming from the same root, the same condition, that's when we will say answer is a yes, because they're coming from the same condition. It's more like saying if this is x and this is y plus 2 and this is 3y. Alright, x is equal to y plus 2, x is equal to 3y. That means these two are connected. Does that make sense? Only because usually the two branches are not connected. In this case, only because they're coming from the same condition. That's why we are saying, oh yes, that makes sense. On those grounds, we will agree. Next one. Most experiments have expected results. Most. There's no mention of quantities trying to quantify. There's no mention of proportion, ratio, percentages. Nothing mentioned. Lack of information. Another tip, whenever there's lack of information, you have to always say big fat no. Lack of information because he says most experiments. I don't know the number of experiments, percentage, ratios, proportions, nothing given to me. So on those grounds, no. Ready? Moving on, next question. Oh, right. What has he got? He says few experiments have unexpected. Oh, again, he's still quantifying it. Few experiments. Oh, there's no quantity. We're quantifying it. Oh, no. Lack of information again on those grounds. Quickly rushing through it is a big fat no. Oh, by the way, these questions that I'm doing, I'll drop the link in the description section of the video so you can access these questions as well in the description. Ready? Moving on. Right, moving to the next question. If the scientist has not had to adjust a hypothesis, watch out now. If the scientist not had to adjust a hypothesis, he's negating the condition. Their experiment did not have unexpected results. Their experiment did not have he's negating the condition. He's negating the outcome and also negating the condition. That means he's getting me to go backwards. I can go backwards against the arrow when there's negation of the outcome going to the condition. He first negated the condition of the outcome, which is adjusting the hypotheses. I can go against the arrow only when there is negation of, number one, the outcome, negation of the condition. Answer on those grounds is a big fat yes. Ready? Right, wonderful. Right, moving on to our next one now. Okay, so what we got? The next question that we're dealing with is as follows. Right, okay. So let's just increase the font size, change the color. All right, sticking to red. Ready? Of all the people waiting in line, Henry's the only one not being patient. So there are people, beg your pardon. So there are people waiting in line. Now, what happens? Most of them, not most, if there are 10 people waiting in line, all of them are patient, which is out of 10, 9 of them are patient. There's only one gentleman by the name Henry who is impatient. Agree so far, right? So what was that? People. What are the categories of people? Another way to draw your constructive your tree diagram, which is 2 possibilities. What's that? People are patient, people are impatient. Who's impatient? Only one person impatient, who's Henry. More than one of the people waiting in line have somewhere to be. More than one of the people waiting in line somewhere to be, which is +1. There are more than one person who has to be somewhere. Ready? Place yes or no. At least one of the people waiting in line is being patient. At least one of the people waiting in line, at least one, even though they have somewhere to be. Of course, yes. Look at that. Out of the 10 people, 9 were patient. Right? Out of the 10 people, 9 were patient. And then at least one of the people waiting in line being patient, even though, of course, out of the 9 people, there could definitely be 2 people, he says more than one, who have somewhere to be. Of course, yes, at least one. Oh, of course, at least one, 100% yes. Ready? Answer is big fat yes in this case. Ready? If a person in line is being impatient, it must be Henry. Of course, yes. There's a person waiting in line. And who's the only person who's being impatient? That's Henry. Clearly, easy one. Answer is a big fat yes again. Righty, moving on. Next question. If only 2 of the people waiting in line have somewhere else to be, only 2 people out of the 10, there's only 2 people waiting in line. One must be Henry. Nope, can't say that. Why not? Because I don't know what, all I know about Henry is he's being impatient. That's, again, if only 2 people waiting in line have got somewhere to be. That means these 2, again, as I said, branches are not connected. So branches are not connected, number 1. Number 2, all I know is about Henry, lack of information, which is all I know is he's just being impatient. I don't know whether he's got somewhere to be or not. Those grounds, big fat no. Ready? All right, so lack of information. Whenever there's lack of information, inconclusive evidence, sorry, you have to select no. Right, second tip, 2 different branches are usually, as I said to you, not connected. In the previous question, we did see 2 different branches were connected. Why? Because the same root, same condition was there. Righty, which is unexpected results. Ready, moving on. Next question. If a person waiting in line, so he says, if a person waiting in line does not have somewhere else to be, they must be patient. Right. He's negating the outcome and he's saying this is correct. Of course not. That's one of the rules is if you need to go backwards against the arrow, there should be negation. There should be negation of it. But in this case, he's only negating the outcome. In this case, he is only negating the outcome. Oh, sorry, that's definitely not true, right? So you can only go backwards when there's negation of the outcome. This is my outcome, and negation of the condition. You can only go backwards when there's negation. In this case, it is not. He's only negating the outcome, not the condition. On those grounds, we say it is. Big fat no. Ready? Moving on. Henry has somewhere to be. Vague. Answer. Absolute lack of information. We discussed it before. Ready? So far, so good. Right. Moving on. Quickly. Running through, skimming through all of these questions. Right. Where we got now? Right. Okay. Here we are. Put it back again. For some strange reason, I always have to change the settings. Right, moving on to our next question. So what have we got now? Of all the chairs in the room, so what happens? Of all the chairs in the room, choose the favorite color, red. So there are chairs in the room. Ready? So there are some chairs in the room. Out of all the chairs in the room, what happens? They're either wooden. There are only two options, two solid arrows. Only two options. Wooden or metallic or metal. Not all of the wooden chairs are brown. Rule number 5 or 6 or whatever, I've lost count. Whenever you hear the word not all, two solid arrows. Because you don't know the proportion. You don't know the percentages. You don't know whether some, few, most, major, majority, many. Don't know. Whenever the word is not all, two solid arrows. Not all the wooden chairs are brown. I know some of them are brown. Some of them are not brown. Ready? Okay. I don't know how much is the proportion. But some are green. Anytime you hear the word some. Dotted line. The word is green. Ready? All right. Moving on. Reading on further. None of the metal chairs, he says, none of the metal chairs are green. All right. They are big fat green. So metals to green is not possible. In Venn diagram language, there is no overlap between the two bubbles. Right. Then he says, none of the metal chairs are green, but most, anytime you hear the word most, solid arrow. But most of the metal chairs are AG, chemistry silver. Most, and he says most means, most are silver, but that means some of them are not silver. Agreed so far? Ready? I think so. We got it. Let's play. If a chair in the room is green, it must be wooden. If a chair in the room is green, of course, yes. If a chair in the room, metal chairs cannot be green. There's only two types of chairs, metal and wooden. If a chair in the room is green, it must be wooden. Of course, yes. Because metallic chairs can't be green. When the tree diagram. Ready? Moving on to our next one now. So the next one is, So the next one is, if all the brown chairs, all the brown chairs in the room are wooden, all the brown chairs in the room are wooden. All right, okay. Are all the brown chairs in the room wooden? No. Why not? Simple question. There are some brown wooden chairs, but there are also some metallic chairs which are not silver. So they perhaps or possibly could be brown as well. I'll repeat. He says, all brown chairs, I've drawn the wrong, it's overlapping with the text. But the text says, all brown chairs in the room are wooden. Brown chairs in the room are wooden, no problem. But not all of them. There are some possibility of silver, there are silver metallic, but some are not silver. And those which are not silver could be brown. Ready? On those grounds, we'll say big fat no. Ready? All right. Moving on to our next one. Few of the metal chairs are not silver, of course. Few means dotted line. Oh, easily. Few of the metallic chairs are not silver. Easy. Right. Next. Now, if you look at that, once you construct this tree diagram with utmost accuracy, you cannot go wrong. The skill is about getting the Venn diagram right. Right. There is at least, now the next one, he says, there is at least one wooden chair that is not brown. Of course here. Look at that. Of course here. That's the one. There is a wooden chair which is not brown. Easy. Right. Another one. So we say it's a big fat yes in this case. Ready? Moving on to our next question. So we got, so all done. Ready? There are more silver chairs than green chairs in the room. Oh, there's no quantity. He's trying to quantify it. Again, if you see here, I don't know how much proportion is there. There are more silver chairs than green chairs. I have no clue whatsoever. There are more silver than green chairs in the room. Nope, quantifying it because I don't know the ratio, proportion, numbers. Big fat no. That was easy. Ready? Moving on to, beg your pardon. Next question. Right. Okay, move. Oh, here he is. Right, okay, moving on. Getting the pen out. Changing the settings again. Right, okay, choosing the favorite color. Red, right. So in here he says all M Monginis are, so we got M, all M are below 68. So I'm writing down minus 68. Then he says all Y's are above 68, which is plus 68. Agreed? Easy and straightforward. Both Y and M's are amphibians. Y and M's are both amphibians. Ready? Okay. Now, moving on to our next bit. So he says, all amphibians mentioned in the text, which is everything to do with hair. All amphibians mentioned in the text are either M's or over 68s. Either M's, of course, anything to do with hair, all amphibians mentioned in the text are either M's or over 68s. Of course, yes. 100% yes. Ready? Moving on to the next one. M's, Monginis are amphibians, but Yorsters are mammals. Absolute no mention of Yorsters or Yosters, whichever way you like to pronounce it. Right, because of lack of information, there's no mention of mammals, isn't it? Right, on those grounds, quickly, swiftly. Right, big fat no. If it is not, who is if? If it is not M, then it is over 68. What do you mean if it is? Who is if? It. Who is it? There's no mention. It's being vague. If it is not Mongini, then it's over 68. Who is it? Lack of information. Big fat no. If he would have said if somebody Yoster or something, if it is not a Mongini, who is it? No. Right? Don't know. Right. Ready? Moving on. So on those grounds we said is a big fat no. Ready? Regardless of whether Mongini or Euster is over 68 or under 68. I'll repeat. Regardless whether a Mongini or a Euster is over 68 or under 68, it is still an amphibian. Yes. Clearly, Euster or Monginis, whether they are above or 68 or not, they are going in the direction of the arrow, they are still amphibians. 100% yes. Ready? Right, moving on to our next question. It says yes. M and M are both live on land permanently. What? Live on land permanently? No, absolutely not. Lack of information. There's no mention of land or anything like that. I know they're amphibians. I know the biology, but land permanently, no. Right, moving on to our next question. Right, okay. The next question is about pets. A pet shop sells... Oh, right, get this thing out. Right, okay, stick to orange. Right, that saves us time. A pet shop sells 3 classes of animals. Right, so pet shop sells 3 classes of animals. What are the 3 classes of animals? So we've got mammals, we've got reptiles, we've got birds. Ready? As quickly as we can. Hopefully we're getting clocking all this, what's happening. All of the reptiles need to be in cages. Reptiles, so that's a reptile, they need to be in cage. Right. While only 30% of the birds, need to be in cages. That means the remainder of 70% of the birds need not be in a cage. None of the mammals need to be in cages. None of the mammals need to be in cages. Ready? Wow, looks easy. Right, let's see how the questions look. Katrina bought a pet that does not need to be caged from the pet shop. Okay, does not need to be caged. Could be this. Could be a bird, because not need to be caged, or could be a mammal. Her friend Rory also bought a pet of the same class. All right. Which must be kept in a cage. Oh, none of the mammals. He's saying Katrina bought a which does not need to be caged, but Rory bought of the same class. Both of them could have bought a mammal, but none of the mammals need to be caged, so Rory will be disappointed. That can't be caged. So what is a possibility? Only possibility is bird. Katrina must have bought altogether a bird. Please tell me if you agree with this. Answer is big fat yes. So one more time, he says Katrina bought a pet, need not be caged. All right, if need not be caged, you can't be need not be caged, you can't be mammal. But then he says both of them bought from the same class, either mammal or bird. Oh, mammals can, no matter what, cannot be caged. Birds, some of the birds, 30% can be caged, 70%. All right, answer is, in this case, Katrina bought a bird, 100% yes. Ready? Moving on. Charlie bought a pet that needs to be caged from the pet shop, so he must have bought a reptile. Nope. Bought a reptile. Answer is big fat no. Why? Because reptiles definitely need to be caged. But there's the other possibility also, birds could also be caged. So on those grounds, answer is big fat no. Ready? Moving on. That was easy. Gilda bought a species animal does not need to be in case she must have bought a mammal. No. One of the possibilities is, of course, yes, could be a mammal. She must. If the word would have been could, then we've understood it. The word is emphasis on the word. The tip in this one is the word must. No, can't be mammal. Option A is mammal. Need not be caged. Option B is a bird is also a possibility of 70% of the birds need not be caged. On those grounds, we will say on this one, big fat no again. Ready? Moving on to our next one now. Ready? Right. A pet shop must have more caged reptiles and birds for sale. No, he's quantifying it. There's no mention of that straight away. No, he's trying to quantify it. Answer is big fat. A pet shop must have more caged reptiles. Oh, sorry. The more caged reptiles than birds for sale. Right. So what have we got? So answer again. Easy. Big fat no. Ready? Moving on to our last one. Nick will only buy animals that do not need to be caged. One more time. He will buy an animal that do not need to be caged. So he could buy a bird. Could. Emphasis on the word is could buy a bird. Yeah, there's an option. Need not be caged. Could buy. Option A, mammal. Could buy a bird. He could. Answer is yes. That's a tricky one. So the key emphasis on the word is, another tip is, because the word is could, means he could. If the word would have been must, no. That's wrong. Based on those grounds, that's why we ignored this one, because he must have bought a reptile. That's why we said no to this. In this case, he could buy a bird. Of course, yes. There's an option. He's just giving us a possibility. Answer is yes on this one. Right, moving on to our next question now. Right, okay, here we are. What's that? Zubbles and lizards. So we've got altogether zubbles and lizards are animals, but neither of them have got wings. All right, get the pen out. So we've got right, making it medium. All right, it just makes it right. Z and are animals. So animals are Z and lizards. Right. Okay, so these two are animals, but neither of them are. Oh, sorry. It needs to go the other way around. The arrow needs to go backwards. These are, anytime you hear the word example, like zub and lizards are animals, means these two belong to the animal category. So one more time, these two belong to the animal category. But neither of them has wings. So none of them have got wings. Agreed. Although both have scales. All right. Both have got scales. Easy. Right. Okay. Zaboob has scales. All right. Who else has? Zaboob is an example. Zaboob has scales is an example. Anytime somebody is an example, Zaboob belongs to scales. Arrow goes towards that. But is not a lizard. Oh, Zaboob is not a lizard. Agreed. All right. Moving on. If an animal is a Zaboob, it cannot be a lizard. Of course, yes. If animal is a zaboob, it cannot be lizard. Clearly, he said that right here. Of course. Either lizard or zaboob have wings. No. So now look how swiftly we're going through this. Either lizards or zaboob have wings. Lizards don't have wings. And number one, clearly said that here. Lizards don't have wings, of course. Zaboobs have wings. Lack of information. Those grounds, answer is no. Next one. If an animal has no scales, it cannot be zubble. Answer again, in this case, yes, definite yes. So because it cannot be zubble, because it cannot be zubble, has scales. Why? Because clearly, in this case, so we've got, one more time, we're looking, oh yes, if animal has no scales. If an animal has no scales, it cannot be zubble. One more time, no scales. If he's got no scales, it cannot be, watch this now. If an animal has got no scales, it cannot be a zubble. Oh, he's negating the condition. No scales, cannot be a zubble. Answer is yes, I'm going backwards. Remember the condition? I can go backwards. He's no scales, cannot be a zubble. I'm going against the arrow in negation, which is true. So that was right. So that was a tricky one. So one more time, why did we change our answer? Because I'm going against the arrow. Zaboobs do not have wings. Answer is zaboobs do not have wings. Answer is no. Right, okay. The boobs do not have wings. We don't know. Why? Because lack of information. All I know is the boobs have scales. I don't know anything about them. The boobs do not have wings. So lack of information. If an animal has scales, it is either zubble or a lizard. If you've got scales, zubble or a lizard, for sure. But you could also be a zaboob. Remember? There are two arrows coming towards him. He says, zaboob has scales. And what's the other one? Zubble and lizard have scales. Oh, both of them going towards scales. Oh no, lack of, so which is incomplete information. On those grounds, we say big fat no. Ready? Moving on to another one now. The video is getting extended now. Righty. Okay, let's just quickly do one more question. Right, let's see if we can crack this as fast as we can. Now he's got, the question is making it right. Of all the video games, so what's happening? There is a video game. Ready? What happens in a video game? Not all, again the word not all. Whenever there's not all, two solid arrows. Not all video games are multiplayers. Some of them are multiplayers. Some of them are not multiplayers. Agreed? But most of them, most means solid arrow, most of them are played online. That means some of them are not played online. Makes sense. Some means dotted. When he says most, solid line, online. Some video games that are played online incorporate virtual reality. He's using the word some. So whenever he says some video games which are played online, they have virtual reality. So if he's got ones which have got virtual reality, so we've got, some of them have got virtual reality. Ready? Okay, got it. Right. Now, moving on to, quickly, our next one now. What does he say? No video game that incorporates virtual reality is without, again the tip, whenever there's two negatives, you ignore the negatives. Ignore virtual games that incorporate virtual reality have latest graphics. So I've got the latest graphics altogether. Ready? If a video game incorporates virtual reality, it has the latest graphics. Video game incorporates virtual reality, latest graphics. Answer is in this case, big fat yes. Ready? Most video games, because it goes with the arrow, most video games played online are multiplayer. Answer is no. Most video games played online. There's no mention. I don't know how much is the proportion. Ready? No. Video games without latest are not played online. Definitely no. Few video games, so he's got few video games that are played online are without the latest graphic. I don't know few because he's not given me the percentages. Ready? Last one. Video games without the latest graphics do not incorporate virtual reality. Without the graphics. If you've got without, do not incorporate. I'm going against the arrow. There is negation. Answer is big fat yes in this case because I'm going against the arrow. Right, guys. So let's see quickly get the score. Let's see how much do we. Right, and view the scores. Right, okay, and here we are. So we got 35 out of 35. Vamos, great stuff. Right, so that was it, guys. That was a wonderful one, and we'll continue cracking more questions on this particular syllogism questions. Hopefully it helped. So we did a quick recap of all the topics or added new strategies to it. Please let me know if this was helpful. Hopefully it was. And the time being, again, as I completely say, always say to you, these strategies I'm trying to keep these videos short and brief. So in the courses, I go a lot into detail, and hopefully I'll see you in the courses. If not, please keep enjoying these videos. Have fun. Ciao, ciao. Till next time, I'll upload another one. Let me know if there's any other section you need any help on. Ready? Bye for now. Ciao, ciao. Take care. Bye-bye.